If you are like me, you subjected yourself to the seventh and final State of the Union address by our honored and distinguished President, Barack Hussein Obama. I tell you, I was disturbed. I found it to be not about the State of the Union, but about the President's state of delusion. If you listen to this speech, you think, terrorism's a problem, but not that big of a deal. Our standing in the world is the highest it's been. Closing the Gitmo prison will make us safe. The economy is great, except for a little problem. Partisan finance reform and changes to reapportionment will solve our problems with government. The Global Climate Change Conference actually mattered. Income inequality has nothing to do with his policies. More trade globalization is what we need. We need more criminals on the streets and more terrorists released from our custody. Open borders are not driving wages down. The real problem are the bigots who don't like it. Undermining the definition of marriage and family is a positive. If you believe this alternative reality, you must be an Obama loyalist. The State of Delusion speech was an example of the delusional leading the deluded. The administration lives in a state of denial. This denial is not only undermining the security of America, but that of the world. We are in a clash of civilizations which is as important as to this generation as the Cold War was, because the freedom and dignity of the human spirit are being fought for. It's a matter of how shall we live? Who are we as humanity? What rights do we have? This is going to determine the next 100 years. This is going to determine human rights. And yet we have a president who seems apathetic. He constantly underestimates and indeed misunderstands the nature and appeal of the enemy. He refuses to name radical Islam. But more importantly, his policies don't understand what the problem is and why it's spreading. He's flushed down the victory in Iraq, down the figurative toilet. He is on the verge of losing Afghanistan. He turned Libya into turmoil and chaos. Syria is not far behind. He is empowering Iran to exercise hegemony in the Middle East. Nuclear proliferation is a bigger risk now than any time in the last 35 years. He is freeing terrorists every week that we risk lives to capture, and they are making the world more dangerous. The biggest danger America is facing is the Obama policy of appeasement and denial. Instead of putting his thumb on the scales in favor of order and freedom, he is inadvertently putting his thumb on the scales in favor of tyranny and extremism. The radical Islamic Caliphate, the ISIS, is expanding. It has loyalists on 6 continents. It has terrorists in our own homeland, with more trying to sneak into our country under forged passports and through open borders. America needs a leader, not a denier. As for the economy, poverty is up, the middle class is shrinking, income is falling for most Americans. Economic growth is at historic lows, if you minus the Great Depression. We are back to the days of stagnation. The president, unfortunately, is a failure. That's sad. We no longer have hope and change. We must hope and make change. The state of our union is troubled, my friends. It takes only eyes to see and a clear mind to understand it. But there is hope. With the right leadership, our best days are ahead of us. America is one of the greatest places in human existence.